Welcome to episode 22 of Michael Reads from a Book. Yes, 22. I looked back and realized I never actually did 22, so here we go. Today's entry is a return to the fighting fantasy series, Knight the Necromancer. We are going to get all stentorian over this. Is that the word? Doesn't matter. So, the prologue for this one's pretty good, so I'll start there. As the sun sets, a ball of molten iron sinking into the chill waters of the Diamond Sea, you catch sight of Valsanor at long last. With a shout of "Yah!" you kick your heels into your horse's heaving flanks and spur it towards the distant castle. By nightfall you will be home. You've been away a long time. 3 years, in fact. 3 years following the crusading banners of the Knights of Talak. 3 years spent in the accursed lands of Bithoria, domain of demons and the lords of night. 3 years fighting the forces of darkness. In that time you have faced all manner of evils, and found yourself in all kinds of life-threatening situations. In fact, you almost lost your life on more occasions than you care to remember. But you survived everything that the forces of darkness could throw at you, from an ambush by a pack of werewolves, the seductive enchantments of the sepulchral sisterhood, thanks in part to your knightly skills and prowess in battle, but also thanks to your sanctified, charm-wrought sword, Night Slayer. Very metal. And now, at last, your home is in sight once more. 3 years ago you set out from Valsanor Castle on the northern coast of Ruddlestone to join in the crusade to purge Bithoria of the malign influence of the cult of death. You'd think they'd just die out on their own. With the defeat of the death mage Thanatos, ooh, good death name, your sworn oath fulfilled, you are free to return home. As you recovered from your last battle at a hospice of the White Lady, you sent letters by messenger ahead of you telling you that of your imminent homecoming, writing one to your sister Oriana, who was anxiously awaiting news of your safe return, and another to your chamberlain Unthank, who you had left to look after your estates and safeguard the people of Sourstone Peninsula, where you were away. You're from Sourstone, alright. And there is one other who you are eager to see after so long, your faithful hound who you left to watch over both the castle, but more particularly Oriana. The sky purpling like a bruise as dust descends, metaphor. You guide your steed down the bleak moorland road towards Valsanor Castle, not once taking your eyes off your celestial home. It is clearly visible now, an imposing silhouette of rising battlements and looming towers. You can also see the village of Sleeth that lies close to the castle, in the shadows of the forests, and before that to the west, the brooding expanse of Wraith Wood. To the east, the bleak wind-swept moors continue as far as the eastern cliffs of the Southstone Promontory. I don't actually know what a promontory is. Whatever. Before you reach home, the Moot Road, it's a terrible name for a road, takes you through the desert. I mean, the point of a road is that it's not moot, that it's going from one place to another. If you're taking a moot road, you might as well, stay home. Takes you through the desolate wilderness of the ancient tribal people of the northern land once called home. Northern Ruddlestone still bears the marks left by these ancient warrior clans. Burial mounds dot the landscape along with time-worn druidic circles. You gallop past one such circle of stones, known locally as the Nine Maidens, as the dusk continues to deepen around you, desperate to be home now after such a long time away. But it is in this treacherous twilight that the trap is sprung. 3 men, dark hoods pulled up over their heads to hide their faces, burst from their hiding places among the standing stones and come at you, armed with swords and axes. Your steed whinnies and rears up on its hind legs in surprise. Exhausted after your long ride, you are thrown from the saddle and land hard on the cold ground. Your horse panics and gallops away as your attackers bear down on you, weapons raised. You scramble to your feet, Night Slayer already in hand. Ruffians like this shouldn't give you any real trouble, even in your weary state. But as the men close in on you with murder on their minds, murder on the minds and the minds on the murder. You notice that the 4th member of the band for the first time, as he appears to coalesce from out of the gathering darkness. He is dressed from head to toe in long black robes, his face hidden behind a grotesque skull mask. The man does not appear to be armed, but in one hand he is holding a glowing sphere of amethyst that seems to swirl with gathering storm clouds. You have encountered his kind before during your crusade to Bithoria. He is an acolyte of the priesthood of Death himself. So Death's a dude. Right. As you keep a watch on him out of the corner of your eye, prepare to meet the would-be assassin's assault. They are no match for your knightly skills, and you have soon dealt all of them flesh wounds. In a few moments the battle will be over, but before you can finish the fight, the death cultist casts his spell. A ball of cracking black light explodes from the acolyte's crystal, forms into a sphere of energy that flashes past the beleaguered murderers and hits you full in the chest. You experience a moment of intense pain like you have never known before, as the spell hurls you back onto the road again. And then the pain is gone, leaving you numb and cold. Who has done this to you, and why, when you were so close to home at last? You waste no time in getting to your feet and bringing your sword to bear once more. Your assailants suddenly stagger away from you, expressions of abject fear on their faces. Only the death acolyte appears unperturbed. You are used to intimidating your enemies, but you have never received quite such a reaction before. One of the men keeps looking down at the ground and then up at you again, a look of utter horror on his face. In fact, he looks like he's seen a ghost. Curious to know what has the thug so shaken, you glance down at the ground too. Bathed in eerie luminescence is what appears to be a body. Judging by the scorched, ragged hole in the middle of its chest, you would guess that it is dead, for how could someone survive such a grievous injury? It is only then that you realize that the body you are staring at aghast is your own. Standing over your dead body, I feel like there's a joke there. You are a glowing ethereal copy of yourself. Your ghostly form is dressed in the same apparel as your corpse, and you are even wielding a phantasmal duplicate of your sword Night Slayer, although the real thing is still lying on the ground next to your lifeless body. The shock you feel at realizing that you are dead is nothing compared to the rage and desire for revenge that consumes you now. There will be a reckoning this night, when all those responsible for your untimely death will have been made to pay for the evil they have perpetrated against you. Screaming like a banshee, you move to engage your murderers in battle. So yeah, as far as a Choose Your Own Adventure book goes, it's pretty innovative to have you die before the first page. It's might be one of my favorite of the series, yeah. Even though it's technically part of the reboot series, this particular edition. Never mind. Okay, that's it for today. See you